What's going on, junkies? Welcome back to another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. I'm your host, Kenshiro. Today, we're going to be talking about a lot of different topics. Number one, being that we got a lot of stuff going on with this new Star Wars Outlaws games coming on, and yet again, Ubisoft is up to their old tricks with locked content. But they're not the only ones. Well, WB Games is doing the same thing with Mortal Kombat. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We got a little bit of MCU talk to talk about. And also got to talk about what is going on at large with WP Games. Are they about to get sold off? But before I get too far ahead of myself, introduce who's going to be on the show with me today. As always, my great friends, Great Adequji, GQ, and Simon Says. What is going on, fellas?
Hey, everybody.
What up?
Good to see everybody out there. But I did want to share something with you, gentlemen, and we allow a few people to kind of get into the mix, into the chat, join us. But real briefly, Dido, you are considering a purchase.
Maybe.
What is that?
Well, there's a company I found out. They're called Ken Hank, and I guess they're out of China. I don't know exactly know much about them, but I do know that they sell things on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. You can get stuff on Temu, AliExpress. They sell little set-top boxes that are just chock full of games. The stuff that you see behind me that's inside that cage has like 85,000 arcade games on it, but they have one that is interesting where it's a 12 terabyte hard drive full of games and damn near everything you can think of, from PlayStation 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, I'm not 100% sure, Xbox 360 games, Nintendo Switch, which seems kind of why Nintendo's a little bit mad, all the arcade, NES, SNES, Genesis, Super Nintendo, Famicom, you name it, 12 terabytes.
12 terabytes.
That's everything.
That's a lot.
That's
a whole lot. But when you brought that up, I had a really interesting question, that kind of an icebreaker for all of y'all. We see Dido's got the machine back there. It's one arcade stand-up. We know in GQ's dungeon, he's got a number of the arcade one-up machines. Would you rather have one machine that has all the games, or would you rather have multiple arcade cabinets with cabinet art and stuff like that out there? What would you guys
machine to rule them all?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, one machine to rule them all. Dr. Doom, what do you think?
I mean, what he's talking about sounds good as long as it's got a good interface and layout, because that would be the main thing that would keep me from getting something like that. If you have to literally go through and get extra emulators, then set them all up, and then do all of that. Now, if all of that is already set up right off the bat, and then maybe the only thing you got to do is maybe change your button configuration, I would do that all day long and just get a 4-player arcade pedestal that you can hook up to a TV, and that would be probably the arcade setup I would do for that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. That's what it is. It does have the setup. It has all the artwork. It has all that stuff. And you just, for the 12 terabyte one, it's a literal hard drive with all the files and whatnot on it. You have to plug it into a PC and then, start the thing on your PC. But then it's just all of it just right there. And I'm just like, this one, you don't have to. It's just, like I said, it's a set-top box. Comes with 2 controllers. It's plug and play, basically, with the controllers. This right here is, I don't say it's custom, but it has the Brooks controllers in there. You had to wire them. Actually, they came that way. I replaced them because the people that sold it to me says, "Oh yeah, you can just upgrade it when because I bought it for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 a long time ago, and then PlayStation 4 came out, and you supposed to be able to upgrade firmware update that didn't work. And it was like, well, I'm sorry, you just have to buy the new boards."
Of course.
Wow.
Yeah. So my dumbass did buy the new boards, and
of course.
It the weird part about it is that
somehow
this right here, it has a layout like how it would for PlayStation and Xbox 360 or Xbox PlayStation. So like all the buttons would be in the same configuration. If you were to plug it right into those systems, you don't have to configure anything. Everything's perfectly right. The
Huh.
set-top box knows what's being plugged into it, but none of the buttons are right. When I put in Street Fighter, they're all over the place. And I don't understand why.
Wow.
Simon, what would you rather have? Would you rather have multiple cabinets, or would you rather have just one to rule them all?
Man, that's hard to say. It would be nice to have like a collection, just like have someone walk down and like see all the arcades.
Yeah.
But it would come in hand. The one that rules them all would be cool because it just have like you have space stuff. That's the only thing that you probably run into. You start buying all of them and you run out of space. So
that's fair.
Yeah, I would definitely take that one just for like the space and everything.
I hear you. Me personally, I'm more of an arcade nut, and I appreciate the look and the feel of having multiple cabinets. Obviously, you have to have a room big enough to do all of that. GQ and I are in that 40, they're pouring over gaming group, and we've seen people with their collections, and they've got like whole ass arcades in their basement. And I'm like, the jealousy is just through the roof. I would love to have that. Out of the chat, I want to say what's up to Marcus A64, Ali over on Facebook, and MK Pryor 12 over on YouTube, who says he would want to have multiple because if I have someone over, I can play what I want, and that's a consideration to be factored in too.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a consideration to factor into. What's up to Sharita Jackson just joining us over on Facebook. Thank everybody for being here. So now that we got that kind of the icebreaker out of the way, I did want to show you guys a movie trailer that I stumbled upon today, and it got me really excited for it. So I want you guys to take a look and let me know what you think.
I need to report a crime.
And this was cash?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you just drive us with?
Big guy must weigh 250.
We're gonna hold on to this money.
I didn't get his badge number, but his last name's Marston.
You're gonna need to leave.
Main suspect number 2.
Hey, Mike! I'm posting bail. You stay low, all right?
You can fight for the money, but that'll take you most of a year and cost you twice what you're owed.
And it's legal?
It's law.
May I at least see my cousin?
You can fuck right
I
off.
would love to, sir, just as soon as I get my money back.
You do not stand in my station in front of my officers and set terms. You need to be very, very careful.
Let's not do that.
Chief!
What are we looking at?
Oh.
I think he's Marine Corps Martial Arts MCMAP. One mind, any weapon.
Whatever you decide to do, you do it damn far from here. You enter this town again, so go another route.
It's time for another chapter.
Something's up. Chief is willing to kill to keep us from finding out.
You ain't ever gonna be safe.
That's the chains. These cops might end up on top, but they don't get any more outs.
Suspect is armed. He goes down. He does not get back up.
It's gotten out of hand. People getting hurt now. So I was thinking, what if we just walk away?
Well, now you're starting to talk.
What if I was like, nah.
Bro, who's gonna say it? Who's gonna fucking say it?
Go ahead, say it. Go ahead, say it.
It's fucking Rambo.
Yeah, Black Rambo.
First Blood. That's right.
It's fucking Rambo. What the hell?
Yo, but the fact that it's an extremely trained government, a soldier going up against seemingly racist cops. I can't say they're all the way racist because they do got the sister in the station that's literally aiding and abetting. But the premise was just fantastic. I was just like, dude, I'm sold. I'm sold. What did you guys think of it?
I mean, it's definitely Rambo. Rambo was a POW, but still obviously definitely trained. Looks like it'll be fun. We'll just have to wait and see. This guy is actually looks like he's trying to get himself into position of being a black action star, so there's nothing wrong with that.
I never seen him.
Yeah.
I think I've seen him in 1 or 2 things
He
before.
looks
but
familiar, yeah.
Not like
He
this
kind of
particular
looks
thing.
familiar.
Yeah, he's never been, as far as I've seen, he's never been in a lead role. So this, I think, is going to be his first lead, which is cool. Obviously, that's Netflix movie. This is something that I would have seen in the theater, but not on like opening night. This would have been like, down the line matinee type of thing.
Yeah.
I saw some people saying that they were upset this is not coming to the theaters because they literally want to see this subject matter. Trained black man, one lone black man against a bunch of racist cops. They want to eat that up.
And that, again, and that's fine. I'm just saying, just from the sense of, it's good that at least Netflix is there to get this movie some exposure and put out there, because this is something that back in the day would have been direct to video. I'm just being real.
And technically, it kind of is direct to video, seeing how it's going on Netflix. But I get what you're saying. So my man's name is Aaron Pierre.
Robespierre.
And he was in M. Night Shyamalan's Old.
I haven't watched it.
Oh yeah, that's why.
I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, that's why I thought I saw him. He looks familiar because what do they call it? Escalade or Exhale or something like that?
I have no idea. So I haven't seen it. So he was in a 2022 movie called Brother. And he is attached to the Mahershala Ali in Marvel Studios Blade.
Okay.
So we'll have to see.
That will hopefully come out at some point.
I know, right?
In life.
Yeah, our lifetime.
I know, right? I know, right?
So Tony Young and Emerald checking in. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, appreciate seeing y'all. All right, so now that we got that out of the way,
this is gonna hurt.
Looking forward to that coming out in September. Can't wait to see that. So let's jump into. We all came to the table, come together like Voltron. We all have a bunch of different topics that we want to talk about. Simon says you brought something to the table that I thought was kind of interesting and alarming. Go ahead.
It is. So what is going on is, a lot of you guys remember the Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra game that was shown at the 23 Expo. So what happened is, I heard that the company that publishing Playon, they're doing a partnership with Skydance Games. The problem and alarming part is that the company that owns them are Embracer Group, and they've been kind of done some like really shady things going on right now. So as of right now, they've already gotten rid of over about 2,000 employees and shut down 7 companies, which one of the companies, I believe, is part of the developers that was supposed to be in developing of the supposed Ninja Turtles Last Ronin game. And I think that's been put on a hiatus, either that or rest in peace. But that's kind of disturbing, knowing that this particular owner of Playon is behind a lot of layoffs, shut down the studios. So I'm kind of like a little worried, but hopefully there's nothing to worry about with the Marvel game that's coming out, the Rise of Hydra. So whatever news we come out with later on in the years to come, because the game is slated to be coming out 2025. So yeah, I'm kind of like worried, but not worried so far. But that's kind of disturbing news.
Well, no. You've got good reason to be a little bit concerned. So Embracer Group, for those of you that may not know or be familiar, Embracer Group is kind of like a conglomerate that they're in the business of acquiring a number of studios. Like we're talking, they have under their umbrella, they have something like 60 studios under their group. All of THQ Nordic, Playon, like you mentioned, Coffee Stain, Amplifier Games Invest, Deca Games, Asmodee, They have Dark Horse Media underneath them, so they own all of Dark Horse as well. Free Mode, and other notable studios like Arc Games, which does the MMO for Star Trek Online. They also have Zen Studios, which makes one of my favorite games, which is the Zen Pinball. They make that. But they were also very infamous for being the ones that acquired Square Enix Montreal, which developed that the Avengers MMO that they promptly shut down almost as soon as they got it. So there is cause for concern. What do you guys say?
I mean, hopefully it'll be one of those things where it's like the game is so far along that it's like it'd be silly to just not release it, and they just go ahead and release it. Hopefully have some good support behind it, or maybe sell it off to somebody that actually wants to do something with it if they're not going to do anything with it.
Right.
Tony Young was mentioning the last Ronin game, that it sounds like it's a cash grab. You got to remember, everything is a cash grab. These people don't do this stuff for free. They don't do it for the art. They do it to make some money. So
correct.
A last Ronin game definitely could have worked well, especially if they would have approached it from the grittiness of the comic, you know, and just basically told that story. They could definitely make a last Ronin game really, really interesting. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, you know, this game will come out. That was one that I was definitely interested in seeing. Obviously, one of the other Marvel games is the upcoming Wolverine game. I want to get that as well. So we'll see what happens.
I agree. All right, so one of the things that that I kind of wanted to touch on, me personally, was fallout from Deadpool and Wolverine. And it's not so much fallout as more as it's a commentary. I know a lot of people love making a lot of bones about how Deadpool and Wolverine is the film that everybody really wanted, and you know, it was fun, it was effervescent, it was, you know, full of cameos that people kind of cared about. They really enjoyed it, right? And they were like, see, Marvel, this is kind of what we wanted, not the other stuff. And why is it being treated differently than, say, a Multiverse of Madness, which also had a bunch of cameos? Or trying to think of, or like the Marvels is probably a poor example because we know the strike kind of really helped do that movie in, and there was a concerted kind of effort to poo-poo that movie. But just in general, the Multiverse Saga has been generally, not talking about us personally, because, you know, we're Culture Junkies, we love practically everything. But the general audience isn't really been vibing with the Multiverse Saga, and I feel like a large part of it is because narratively it's been a mess. They approached the Multiverse Saga while also trying to coincide with reintroducing or trying to introduce characters that nobody knew / cared about. And that's where kind of the disconnect has come. Super Nerd kind of put it in there into our Facebook group, how he's seen people talking about how they're glad that the Multiverse Saga is being wound down, even though it's only been 5 years, whereas the Infinity Saga was 10 years. What do you guys say is what would you think the main problem has been with the general audience reception of the Multiverse Saga? I have my thoughts, but I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on it.
I say I'm kind of mixed on the multiverse because it's kind of like one of those like storylines that you can literally like do whatever you want with it, but you have to be very, very cautious on how you portray other characters from different multiverses. Practically, like there was, I remember like there were so many like concepts that, oh yeah, we could bring in another Tony Stark from another universe or whatnot, or we could do like and there was another they were talking about, oh yeah, let's do like bring back what is it The Incredible Hulk.
Oh.
Yeah, T'Challa or the was it
Ang
Norton's
Lee's Hulk or something like that? Were they talking about
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So
wow,
yeah,
really?
yeah. Norton's Hulk and bring him back or something like that. It was kind of like so many like weird like concepts. Everyone was like throwing out, making see what
Mhm.
might happen. Hell, they were talking about doing like actually doing multiversal celestials or some crap like that. I was like, what are you talking about? We had barely even touched the celestials in what was it, the exiles, and that was kind
The
of like
Eternals. You
the
mean the
Eternals.
Eternals, right?
The Eternals.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah, but it was like briefly touched, and then everybody was like, "Oh, we could do such and such. We could bring back freaking Thanos if you wanted to." It's like, oh god, this it's one of those things where you have to like take the multiverse with a fine tooth comb and not like overblow everything to where you want to like bring back every hero that one died or two like decided like right off in the sunset. I mean, we're trying to do new characters, but most people are talking about bringing back old characters. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where um, it had its and the multiverse had its run. I mean, it could still do good things, but I would rather just like have them like pump the brakes on it a little bit and then just go from um, just like sit back and reevaluate what they were trying to do with it.
Okay. Dido, what do you think about all of this?
I don't know. I think to the normies, and some people, it's just been too much for them to follow, and because I guess some people get confused because not everybody watches all the movies like we do, and
Mhm.
I think that some people are like, okay, when did this person show up? I don't know what's going on, or you got a lot of young people that were missed the Fox era. They weren't around, or they were babies, or what have you, and they didn't see any of that stuff. And a lot of it just doesn't mean anything to them. They didn't watch the Sam Raimis. They didn't watch the Andrew Garfields. Andrew Garfield, I think that's his name. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with it because, like, you know, we were in the theater like, oh my gosh, this is go. Oh my gosh, this callback. Oh my gosh, this because we were all adults when all that stuff came out, and we have pretty good memories of it. And not only did we watch it in the theaters, we've watched it multiple times on home video. But I just think a lot of it's confusing to the masses. The prior saga was pretty much straightforward. You had one Cap, one Hulk, one, blah, blah, blah. And nobody had to worry about, trying to follow this, and that, seeing this movie to understand this person, to understand that person. And that could be the possibility. I'm not 100% too sure, to tell you the truth. Because, like, watching Deadpool and Wolverine, there's a lot of callbacks. There's a lot of stuff that people just didn't know, like Gambit showed up. The reason why Gambit showed up, because like the movie was there to entertain you, but it was also, as we all got, a send off to the Fox universe. I mean, a lot of those people put a lot of hard earned, work and time. And despite some people not liking some of the movies, and some people do liking some of the movies, there's a lot of people put a lot of hard work in there. And that's how we got Wolverine. We got a Hugh Jackman Wolverine that everybody poo-pooed on in the beginning. And everybody loves now. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. But we were there when, like, no, he's too tall. No, it's Hugh Jackman. Who the heck is Hugh Jackman? Blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
So, like, the movie was a send-off, and it had a lot of freaking stuff like Gambit. Like I was saying, Gambit, we as Culture Junkies know they wanted to do a Gambit movie. We know they wanted Channing Tatum. We know all that stuff, and it just never happened. And Ryan Reynolds knew it as well. It's like, you know what? Let's give the fans what they want. So it's kind of like a fan thing for people like us. But everybody else who did not pay attention to all that stuff, those are the ones I think are confused. And that's the reason why it doesn't look like the multiverse is doing well, because you got to watch Loki. You got to watch Ant-Man. You got to watch freaking what the WandaVision. And then you got to watch this. And they don't watch all that stuff. So
Right. And what you mentioned is, I think, is what I was getting at is the problem with the multiverse in general. And I think Sharita Jackson had actually put that in the chat as well. That was one of the things. The only thing in the Multiverse Saga that she liked was No Way Home. And the reason being is that it was a very clear story. and they didn't put Peter to the side like Doctor Strange was kind of put to the side in Multiverse of Madness, which is true. He was kind of like a secondary thought in his own movie, which was a movie was supposed to be about him. But I mean, he wasn't really, but it felt that way. You know what I mean? And I think narratively, the multiverse has been a mess. And that goes back to what I said about how the Multiverse Saga has been also been trying to be used as a vehicle to introduce new characters that they want you to care about, but they don't, right? It's like they're trying to try this overly complex story with a bunch of themes that, like Dido said, requires a lot of homework. General audience just wants to come to the movie and be entertained. They want something very simple, straightforward, no high concepts, so sci-fi. You got a variant here, you got a variant there. Well, this Gamora isn't the same as this Gamora, or this Captain America isn't the same as this Captain America. No, they don't want none of that. They literally just want something that they can get on board, buckle their seatbelt, go for a ride and have fun. That's it. And does that mean that multiversal concepts just should be done away with altogether?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Honestly, I don't know. We know that. What do we say? GQ, you did they say the next Avengers movies will take place over the course of the next 2 or 3 years or something like that? Would that bring it to another 10-year window?
Not necessarily. I mean, 2026 is when those movies are supposed to drop. I think the issue with the multiverse hasn't necessarily been the complexity. I think they're rushing it because a lot of those fantasy casts, a lot of those involvements, you got actors that are approaching 60 that are not going to be able to come back and reprise these roles, or are not interested in reprising these roles. That's the one part of the unfortunate part of reality that people have to actually grapple with. It's like, yeah, it'd be great to like bring Robert Downey Jr. back, or have Tom Cruise show up as an alternate Tony Stark, or all the various blah, blah, blah. Let's be real. Are you going to be able to get those people to show up for these things, to be in these things, 15 years from now? Probably not. So they're trying to get out, as much as they can out as fast as they can. Multiverse might have just been something that they shouldn't have approached at all, if considering, but let's be real. Let's take ourselves back, 15 years ago. The idea and concept of Infinity War and Endgame was impossible for us back then. Nobody thought they could have ever pulled that many actors for that period of time, bringing into these roles, putting all those people in one movie. It's like the Expendables. Let's look back when the Expendables was first announced. That seemed like that was an impossibility. Like they ain't gonna be able to get Arnold and Bruce Willis and Sylvester Stallone, like all
and
those
Van Damme, maybe
all be in the same movie. It's like, and then it happens. It's like, oh, okay,
yeah.
So I think the multiverse, and that's why part of the reason why Deadpool and Wolverine worked so well, they were able to bring in people from all over. Huge, long. I mean, Elektra. Who even thought Elektra was going to even be in the
man?
Yes. So that's a callback of a callback. So it's like, with the multiverse and trying to get some of the, the various castings and stuff. It's like, 10 years from now, you're probably not going to be able to talk to those people to get them involved. It's just, and also the multiverse ran into a situation where everybody was doing multiverses at the same time. So
well, I think to kind of try and put a bow on this, I think the multiverse as a concept doesn't work in a movie or overarching cinematic universe sense. I think it's best served in television projects like What If, perfect vehicle to do explorations of multiverse stuff. Perfect. And it does very well. We've had 2 seasons of generally really good stuff, and because they're multiversal and they're in large part episodic, it's a get in, get out type thing. There's no necessarily need for prerequisite homework or anything like that. You can literally just pick it up, enjoy this adventure, put it down, and go about your business, right? You don't have to have watched Loki in order to get the full breadth of things. You don't have to have watched WandaVision and Doctor Strange in order to get Multiverse of Madness, like what was required in that movie. It as a concept, I think it's best not to be done in the movie aspect. It should just be on What If, or maybe if they do this, which would be awesome, but I don't think they'll ever do it. If they, I know that was a slip up on my part. But if they made a TV show of the Exiles, oh man, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
I
They
agree.
did a TV show of the Exiles, that would be sweet. But
Yeah.
I think that's where it should stay.
Iguana Man brings up a good point, though. He says, every MCU movie I've seen has entertained me. Love this stuff and just as much as the next person, but these are just movies. He also goes on to say, and because of that emotion, you don't accept what people are working hard to put in front of you, because of, everybody has that tie to what they read in the comics, and that from all those years over, and again, a lot of us, have seen these stories or heard of these stories before, or seen interpretations of these stories. So for them to be able to do it in live action is, it's a huge and daunting task. And at the same time, it's like, people have to understand, you can write and draw whatever the hell you want. I can, put Hulk and Doctor Strange and Iron Man and Doctor Doom and all of these people in these stories and draw it all day long. When I actually have to cast it, film it, shoot it, put some CGI behind it and all that other stuff, it's like, now you're talking about a whole nother monster. So, for people, even back when Civil War came out, I remember people were complaining the Captain America Civil War fight. Oh, it was so small scale, and it was just, the airport. I'm like,
what?
You realize, like, that story, the amount of characters involved in that story,
that's impossible.
Yeah, they're not doing that in a Captain America. Now, Avengers, we saw what happened in Infinity War. We got that bigger stakes, bigger level, and then of course we got what we got in Endgame. There's only so much that you're going to be able to do, and for me, I enjoyed Civil War. I really enjoyed that film because, yes, I've read the actual original comics that it's related to, or the comic arc that it's related to, and it's like, they're never going to approach that scale because at the time, certain people were locked up. They got Spider-Man involved, which was cool. So I mean, they did what they could do and they made it work. And it's, again, I don't need a one-to-one translation of what I just read. Give me a different version of it, and that's more entertaining to me.
Yeah.
So they hit some story beats that they needed to hit, and they moved it forward from there. Sharita Jackson was asking. She says, "I need my Secret Wars. So where is that at? That's coming."
Yeah, 2027. She's like, "Why I gotta be?" She aged herself. She's like, "Why I gotta be 40 before I get my movie?" I mean, how do you think we feel? We about to be on the other side of 50.
Yeah,
We're about to be on the other side of 50 before we get that movie. Like, come on now,
Just be glad that you get it before you pushing up daisies.
Correct.
yeah,
That's right. That's right. Count your blessings while you got them. All right, Dido, you're up. What you got?
Well, according to what I saw on the Primo, he told me about it, and then I had to look it up. You get there's a report. This is from GameDeveloper.com, and other websites have also been reporting on it. WB Discovery looking to sell off games, other divisions to prevent total breakup. And a lot of people, I'm hearing they didn't like Mortal Kombat, not because it was not just because it's a good game. It's doing what it's doing. When I say a good game, comparatively to the other Mortal Kombat games, it's doing what it's doing. A lot of people are not really happy with the DLC portion of it. They think WB is being really greedy because the newest DLC that's coming out for it is basically a new game. It's like Street Fighter 2 Turbo, but they want to charge a whole, $70 for it, or is it $60? I don't know, but that's a lot for a DLC, in my honest opinion, because it's literally the same price as the game. So if they do sell it, will the next developers treat it exactly the same, or will somebody, do Mortal Kombat and give us like not the same type of content, but not necessarily having to pay that much out of it? Because I do think it's kind of crazy. I was looking into wanting to buy Mortal Kombat 1. This generation, I have not bought any of the fighting games. I haven't bought Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, or Mortal Kombat yet, mainly because just tired, but I want to get back into them so I can actually just play and go to locals and do all that stuff that I loved doing a long, long time ago. But Mortal Kombat 1 is kind of irritating me because I don't want to pay $140 for this game because I'm gonna have to buy the initial game and then buy the DLC. And usually I'll wait till it's all out in the Ultimate Edition that I can get for $20, and that's probably not going to happen this time. But if they do sell it, because it's not going to just be Mortal Kombat. It's going to be a lot of freaking things like, you know, DC branded games, Harry Potter branded games. They could get a lot of stuff that I guess get a lot of money for them because that's what they're in the game for is money. But who the heck do you think would buy them if they were to buy them? Who would you want to see have Mortal Kombat franchise, and do you think they will treat it in the way that us fans think we deserve?
That's a good one. So imagine, right? Imagine. We're talking that WB would sell licenses, or are they selling the studios? Did the report say that?
It says per Financial Times senior management, this guy right here, who I don't care, considered selling off. Side of the business include original franchises. WB acquired Mortal Kombat, long running Transmedia's DC and Harry Potter. Since merging with Discovery in 2022, WBD has repeatedly affirmed its desire to stick around in video games, particularly live service. It saw a big success in 2023.
Ew.
Yeah,
Ew, disgusting. Ew. So it sounds like they're talking about maybe a hybrid where, especially with like Harry Potter, they would sell a license, but with maybe Mortal Kombat NetherRealm, they would just sell the studio.
Well, it says potential sales back in the area affecting NetherRealm specifically, blah blah blah. So yeah, the sale never happened, but I think it's selling studios. I don't think it's selling license.
Well, Harry Potter. Well,
they might keep their license and then sell the studio, make money, and then like license that out to studios to make it.
The only reason I say that is because you're not going to sell the Harry Potter IP. They're not that.
Hell no.
They're not going to do that.
It's too big.
So you would license out Harry Potter, but you would sell Mortal Kombat. Essentially.
What about Rocksteady though? Would you think they'll sell that? Because like obviously it's not doing good because that.
Rocksteady is nowhere near what it used to be, so they would sell that. No. But what I was getting at though is imagine Namco getting their hands on Mortal Kombat.
I don't know if Namco's big enough, but yeah, that would be interesting. Now you think about it, what company is big enough to buy it?
I thought you was gonna say EA. I was like, dude, you shit. Are you fucking crazy? They would not buy them.
Hell no, I wouldn't say that. Nah. But Namco getting their hands on Mortal Kombat, oh, bro.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty.
I could see that.
Pretty cool. Yeah, because if they throw the Mortal Kombat characters in the Namco engine and then just basically did Tekken with fatalities, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. What do you think, GQ?
It could be interesting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what's his name? John Tobias has been running. No, I'm sorry, Ed Boon, rather. Ed Boon has been running NetherRealm for a while, and you know, Mortal Kombat is Mortal Kombat. It's always going to be, you know, its own kind of entity. I'm with Dido on his opinion of the last couple of Mortal Kombat games and actually some of the fighting games in general, that they're becoming a little more like Marvel and less like what they were, you know, in the sense of the versus style of games. Mortal Kombat 9, in my opinion, is still probably one of the best modern day Mortal Kombat games that ever came out. And you can't. What's the one?
Story-wise,
not just story-wise, the game itself.
Everything about that game was really well done, and it was crazy. And this is again another testament to why you need to purchase physical games when you can. I think that one is not available anymore digitally. Like you can't get it
anywhere,
because I think those licensed characters have pretty much hamstringed it. We're like, yeah, we can't sell this anymore. Because obviously Freddy Krueger was in the game. For the PlayStation, Kratos was in the game.
Was Green Lantern in one? Or was that just a rumor?
No, that was Injustice. That was around the time when they were doing Injustice one year.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So I mean, they got Phil Lamar to do the voice in Injustice. And also, you know, it looked like Jon Stewart, but beyond that, Spawn is was in the last one, Mortal Kombat 10. I'm sorry, Mortal Kombat 11. He was in that one.
In 11. Okay.
And Keith David did do his voice. So I mean,
oh yes, I remember now. Yeah,
that was the one. That was the one advantage of Warner Brothers having that license, where they could get people to do those voices. Arnold unfortunately was a sound alike, but he did a damn good job. Arnold, funny enough, Arnold's DLC again this time around as Conan, because last time
Sly did Rambo, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe Sly did Rambo.
Also, and Peter Weller do RoboCop too?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
like,
he did.
So losing, I mean, and again, I'm sure that whoever gets the license, if that's what does in fact happen, or if the studio moves or whatever, I'm sure they can get whoever they need to get. Because it's still a big enough property. It's just the most recent games just haven't been that fun to actually play. So, that's one drawback.
That part kind of sucks. Got to be fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Like,
So, but also along with that, they're talking about selling they're not going to sell DC. They're not, again, just like Harry Potter, they ain't that stupid. So they would sell licenses to do DC games. So are we talking maybe Insomniac getting their hands on DC characters? I would eat that.
Maybe.
I would eat that up. I would eat it up.
Yeah, that would definitely help, because then you could get
an actual Superman game.
Yeah, an actual Superman game.
Yes.
It's still so ridiculous that one demo, the Unreal 5 demo, was the Matrix. And they turned it, a lot of people turned it into a mod Superman. I'm like, why don't y'all just use this as groundwork? Because this is really good. Somebody needs to do this. So who knows? We'll see.
And that funny, and if you remember that someone modded Spider-Man with Flash, the Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
I mean, so I mean, it can be done.
Absolutely.
That's sick, Hand of Omega. What if Disney and WB traded Star Wars and Harry Potter? I think Disney would do really good with Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Warner Brothers would do great with Star Wars. They would try and turn it all dark and, well.
I mean, there's aspects of Star Wars that are dark. There's aspects
Yeah.
of Star Wars that are, because if you even look at the Acolyte was some of the darkest Star Wars stuff that we've had in years.
Shit.
They could do that. They could do that Sith War.
Here's what I'm afraid of. If Warner Brothers had their hands on Star Wars, they would invite Zack Snyder to come in and do Star Wars, because Rebel Moon is essentially a Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah,
So
pretty much.
If he gets his hands on Star Wars,
wasn't there a director's cut released of that though? Of Rebel Moon?
Yeah,
recently, yeah.
Oh my God! Look, that dude. Listen, I posted in the Facebook group. I know this is an aside, and we'll get to GQ's comment because it actually kind of springboards off of this one. But this dude purposely baked in director's cuts into his Netflix contract. So it turned his director's cut into a complete gimmick. Like it wasn't a gimmick already. But for him to go out there on Twitter earlier this week, or was it last week? I think it was last week, and play up, be like, now you'll get to see my true vision. Motherfucker, no one was hampering you this time around anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Netflix didn't force you to do PG-13. You chose to do it.
Okay, but I don't see the problem with that. Like, Lucas did director's cuts. Lucas has been doing director's cuts from the beginning. Let's be real. Let's just be real. It's a way to make yourself more money. I cannot blame him for that.
But GQ. Okay.
He had no restraints though.
Lucas had those time restraints on 20th Century Fox back in the day. He had those time restraints. It was only after Star Wars.
It's not even just the time restraints. He was restrained by the technology of the day. There is absolutely nothing wrong. And again, I will never, as somebody that watches films, I will never be upset at a director saying, hey, I would like to go back and improve upon the story that I did. Because I wasn't able to do it, didn't have enough time, technology wasn't there, or whatever. And again, I respect Snyder as a filmmaker, just from the sense that some of the visuals he makes are insanely good.
Yes, I'll give you that.
Yeah, he makes comic book, images and covers come to life.
But by the way, I'm glad you say that. The images he used to promote his director's cuts, The shit is fire. It will look great on a director's on a steelbook. It will look great.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
The difference is that this was Netflix. He could have done director's cut right from the jump. He didn't have to just say, hey, I'm gonna do these 2 movies and then we're gonna wait maybe 6 months and then I'm gonna do this director's cut. And people have all been like, wait a minute, well, why didn't you just do the director's cut in the first place? Because Netflix wasn't hampering you at all. That's it's the pretentiousness that gets me. That's the part that I can't stand. That's all.
First off, you have to understand from a business side of things. If I'm because remember, Rebel Moon is an unproven property. No matter how much it's related to Star Wars, similar to Star Wars, blah blah blah, it's still a new IP. So for him to go out there and do his wildest, craziest idea first, and it get rejected, kills the entire future of him doing this as a franchise. You put the safe one out first. Hey, people like that. All right, cool. All right, let me go back to it and touch it up with my crazy over-the-top version because they already like the first one. And again, he's getting Netflix don't care because they get more money.
I guess
it's a win-win on the business side of things.
I guess. Anyway, the floor is yours, my friend. Take it away. What did you want to bring up to the masses?
All right, so mine to piggyback off of the game that we've been having. I know them Legos are hard and
that was that was rude.
Right.
If my man's getting ready to talk,
I'm sorry. It's just the frustration of trying to put something together and it keeps falling off.
I know.
I'll mute myself.
Man. No, you're good. You're good. He's about to get them Lego arthritis hands in a minute. Keep it up. Straight up off of the last conversation related to video games, Star Wars Outlaws is going to be releasing August 30th. So basically the end of this month. And they've already put out a roadmap of the next 2 story expansion packs that are going to be coming. This is also carrying over to that DLC conversation with Mortal Kombat, with Mortal Kombat's new story expansion being a $60 DLC pack, which gets you the story expansion along with a couple of season basically the Combat Pack 2 or the Season Pass 2. Essentially is the price of another game, and we don't know the price of the story expansions for Star Wars Outlaws yet, but the problem I have with it is saying that it is a separate purchase. I wish these companies would adopt the season pass model that WWE 2K games use, where when you buy the season pass, you get everything that comes out for the following year, basically for the WWE games, because they are yearly release. You get everything. You don't have, and that's usually about a $25 purchase. You don't have to go back and every single time they release a new wrestler pack, buy it, another wrestler. It's like, no, you're already covered. You're good. To me, especially as someone that purchases collector's editions for a lot of stuff, I shouldn't have to reach in my pocket and get Combat Pack 2 for Mortal Kombat. I got the collector's edition. I should have an ultimate pass that covers whatever you guys bring out for the life of time of this game. Same thing with this the Star Wars setup. There should be a pass where it's like, look, if I buy the collector's edition or buy whatever, I don't need to buy any more DLC. Y'all just send me the DLC as it comes because I've already got the ultimate pass that covers all this. So I don't know. I'm throwing it to the channel. I'm sorry, the panel as well as the chat. What do you guys think about that? Should these companies still be nickel and diming us with these things? Which again, I get it. It's a cash grab. They want money. Or should these games, because a lot of them are being released with stuff being held back to be released as DLC later, offer more ultimate passes where you don't have to constantly get nickel and dimed?
Well, my opinion about stuff being the fact that all of us are old school gamers, and when you bought the game, and then when they did DLC, they brought out the game like Street Fighter and Super Street Fighter, and then Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That's you wanted it, you bought it. I'm in a way that it's just like I like to see season passes. If I'm gonna do that, I'm not a big fan of DLC. Period. At all. I mean, the only one that I've actively been keeping up with is No Man's Sky because it's been free, and they've been putting in some of the best updates, free updates out of any game that I've ever heard of. And unfortunately, I guess they're not They're not going to do that because other places they spend so much money on these goddamn games. They got to make it up somehow, and that unfortunately is the only thing for them to make it up. So we probably are going to. It's probably going to be a time where you buy a base game. It's going to be nothing, and if you want everything else, DLC, and the DLC is going to cost as much. This is the beginning, starting that stuff, and so like if it catches on, if it's successful, they're going to keep doing it. Remember, they only keep doing stuff if it's successful. So if this new Star Wars games DLC gets bought up by the millions and the tons and tons of gamers, then goodbye cheap DLC, goodbye season passes, goodbye all that stuff. And they'll be like, hey, it worked. They're going to buy it.
Yeah.
Simon, what you think?
I'm not surprised because it's just massive. They do this shit all the time. So you all know I play a game called The Division, Division 2.
Yeah.
Massive is the developer for that game. They have already put out a like roadmap for Division 2 for their season, and then next year is going to be their DLC for that game. They've done this before, so I'm not surprised that they're doing this for Outlaws, because that's what they do. They put out roadmaps, and then a year down the road, they're going to put out a DLC, and then people are going to buy it. So this is, I mean, just because it's a Star Wars game, they're producing it, they're putting their own model, their own model of like their projection to the game. So I'm not surprised. I knew this shit was gonna happen, so I'm just gonna sit back and just wait and see.
That's fair.
Okay.
To that point, Iguana Man brings up, he says this business model will only get worse. GTA 5 shaped the modern market, and it would only get worse with GTA 6 coming out. Which, I mean, it's hilarious to even say GTA 5 shaped the modern market. GTA 5 has been around since the PS3.
I know, right?
The Xbox 360. It's insane to even think. And that game is still going strong. The online obviously still has DLC packs and stuff that are available for it. It's I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, DLC, I understand why companies do it. We all do. Obviously not just the money aspect of it. It's almost like the director's cut thing we were talking about with film.
Yeah.
You're able to go back in and improve upon something that's already out there without having to completely reinvent the wheel. So I mean, it's kind of a give and take, and it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing, in my opinion. What do you think, Kenshiro?
So for me, I love the idea of what you said, an ultimate pass. But we know that they'll never do that because they want to keep, recurring cash flow coming in. They want to keep getting you to pay more and more and more and more over time. That's why gacha games have, become so popular. Fortnite, basically is free, and they just nickel and dime you with drip content all the time, right? With Star Wars Outlaws, y'all know I was excited about the game from the jump. Open world Star Wars, with ground and space combat. Sign me up. I'm sold, right? I was initially very hesitant and kind of upset about the whole season 1 roadmap type deal, but then I had to think about it. I think I dislike the timing of it, right? The timing of it sets that, we know on purpose that we created a bunch of this content, and we purposely have locked some of it behind a paywall, and we're going to force you to pay for it. What I would have preferred is something like, say, if it was planned, but the window was a little bit further out. Well, I remember very vividly when Spider-Man 1 came out on the PS4, that base game, you had it was 60 hours worth of gameplay and stuff like that. And they gave you 6 months to complete that, right? And then all of a sudden at the 6-month mark or something, that's when the first DLC hit, The City That Never Sleeps. And that was the Black Cat expansion pack, where it introduced Black Cat physically as a player. And it felt like a few new chapters in a game that you already loved and you already played. I loved that approach. I wish Star Wars Outlaws could do that. Now, the flip side is they could also have treated the base game as one chapter and then just said, come back 2 or 3 months from now to get the next chapter of the story, and then keep it on going and going and going, much like The Witcher 3 did with I think it was they had 2 expansions packs with The Witcher 3. I forget what they were called, but they were essentially fully fleshed new chapters of the game that introduce best example, not The Witcher 3, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. By the time you had finished playing Cyberpunk over the year or something that it came out, then Phantom Liberty comes along, and it's essentially almost a brand new game, because you're not playing as V, you're playing as somebody else, and you're going through a whole new chapter of the story, and the game feels completely different, and it opens up a whole new city or a section of Night City for you to explore. I love that approach. I think that would be great. The season pass approach, I guess I don't mind. I think the more egregious one was the example you brought up with Mortal Kombat, because it feels like ultimately just for the game that you've already paid for, it's not worth it. I dislike paying full price basically twice for a game that I feel like should have been complete right from the jump. That's why I dislike the timing of the season pass, because essentially they're like making you pay $60 again for this season pass, and you're getting some skins, and you're getting 2 story packs, I think, right? One of them, the Java one, and the other one is Hondo, the Hondo missions. Yeah, that's just my take on it.
Well, the other thing is, I think even that the Jabba mission, I think, is exclusive to the season pass.
Yes, it is.
So like
you meet him in the base game, but you don't have a mission with him.
Yeah, well,
they
stuff
that.
Like and stuff like that, I don't really
I don't like that either.
Like it's like, look, if you're gonna put the character again, we're getting back to that DLC contents on the disc thing that Capcom ran into with Street Fighter Cross Tekken, where it's just like, okay, it's there, but you're saying I can't interact with it because I didn't give you money. And it's just like, hold on now. Like that's annoying, when they do stuff like that.
Kenshiro, when you was talking about chapters, episodes, I was literally thinking you were going to go with the whole Telltale games, how they break things up in chapters, like that Walking Dead game or Wolf Among Us or something like that.
That's not a terrible approach for some of these AAA games, though. Like the GTA 5 example, right? That game lasted like 12 years.
Yeah.
12 years.
That's 3 console generations.
3 console generations. It's crazy. Started on PS3, went to PS4, and is on PS5. Like what? Like what? Unheard of. And they kept bringing out content.
6 has got some huge shoes to fill. 6 better be the most insanely just.
Look, man.
6 better be so disgustingly good. It's just it hurts.
6 to even come close to what 5 was. 6 got to last 20 years. 6 got to last 20 years.
20 years. Okay.
It's got to last 20 years in order for it to touch 5.
6 has got to make it to the PS7.
Yeah.
Or PS8. Shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway, so what did they say down in the chat? A lot of stuff.
Okay. Patrick Dominguez. I'm sorry, Perez, excuse me. Do y'all remember multiplayer passes on PS3? If
you bought the game used.
Oh, yeah, I kind of remember that. They were trying to make it where like it was like an online lockout, basically. So if you got it used, you still, if you wanted to play multiplayer, you had to buy a pass. Yeah.
Yep. That's why the 360 reigned supreme with online gaming in that generation.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, what is this? So Ali on Facebook says, I don't know if you know or remember, but the first Infamous game had a skill ability called Gigawatt Blade, which was unlockable only as a pre-order exclusive.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Damn, bro.
I guess I never opened that up.
Yeah.
And never will.
Wow, that's crazy.
I mean, that was kind of the issue with a lot of stuff. But Dido, and on the Mortal Kombat front, I mean, obviously, I know you like to wait for a lot of these games when they drop in price and that sort of thing. Mortal Kombat especially with this new season expansion. I mean, they did the same thing with Mortal Kombat 11. They had Mortal Kombat 11, and they had Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath, which came with all of the stuff. And you can get after if you walked into a store right now, you can probably get Aftermath for like $10.
I got it really cheap.
Yeah,
of course.
So I'm very sure that whatever they call this new expansion for Mortal Kombat is going to be re-released as a whole nother disc and setup, basically another SKU. And shoot, probably by this time next year, you'll be able to get it for $20 or less.
So, a question for Simon says: so you played The Division? It was developed by Massive, and that game's been running for Division 2 has been running for what, 5 years now?
Yeah, almost 6.
Almost 6. Okay.
Yeah, because after this year, 6 year, the 6 year plan, they'll be releasing the new expansion, the new DLC coming up.
Okay.
2025.
So do you see them maybe doing this with Star Wars Outlaws, where they could, because the framework of the game lends itself to being the story never ends, right? Like, you could open different chapters and different stuff, and maybe Kay could grow, and maybe you can even start to buy new ships, and you're not always stuck with the Trailblazer and stuff like that. I could see a lot of that. So
yeah, because the only thing what makes this is kind of interesting with it, because Division is a looter shooter, and what this season right now is they're doing Vanguard, and basically we're doing like a manhunt. I can see them doing like maybe like if they do like a seasonal thing where it might do like one season it's like you're a bounty hunter collecting bounties and all that, and then another season that this is a new heist that you gotta like put together, like get together, like find all the clues and figure out like how to like access like this safe or whatnot. And then probably down the road they'll throw in a DLC, and then they'll start over again, maybe like a global event or something like that. What they'll do is like I don't know how it'll work, but I mean maybe like going around different areas and collecting I don't know, was it what the hell is that drug? Red sand or some shit like that? Yeah, do drug run or something like that. But yeah, that's how that's how I see it, because like I said, from what GQ said, and it sounds like it sounds just like what Massive does. They'll put together a season, and then maybe a year down the road or like a month down the road, they'll have a new DLC ready for you, ready to go. And they always like to plan ahead. They'll plan like the roadmap for like a few like weeks or months in advance, and then like I said, eventually, maybe I don't know I don't know when they said the new DLC will be in. Did it say like a couple weeks or a month?
It launches on the 30th.
Yeah.
And then they said fall of this year is when the first set of packs is going to be available. The wild card, which is the story expansion, and then in 2025 for spring, the what is this?
That's
called?
the Java one, right?
No, Pirate's Fortune. Pirate's Fortune is the.
That's the Holdo version. That's the Holdo Hondo Anaka.
Hondo.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Java one is exclusive to people that buy the season pass, but I guess you get to play that right away.
Okay.
Okay. I guess that changes things a little bit. But
it does,
to your point, to your point,
about right.
Well, to GQ's point, they included it in the base game, but they're paywalling it. That's the part that annoys me. That annoys me too.
Well, they're paywalling it, and then also, like I said, the season pass that you get, I need to know what the pricing is on it, because they even say that you can buy these other expansions separately. So it's like, hold on now, what is the pricing now? Are you saying I buy one pass and I rule them all, similar to the WWE games, or am I buying the season pass, getting this job of mission from the the paywall from behind the paywall, but still got to pay more money for the other stuff, the other two story expansions down the line?
You still got to pay for them, because that's how they do it. I mean, they might change it. I don't know, but
and speed. That's
from this this season that I'm like, I had to pay like it was like $30 for the season.
Okay.
So
and that's not bad.
Yeah, but
That's
but
not
that's
bad at all.
every season though. Every season that comes out. So
See, now that's the problem.
yeah.
If it was
Mhm.
$30 and then I get these other little story expansions down the line later, fine, cool, because then that would be very similar to how fighting games are doing it, WWE is doing it, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But for them to be like, oh yeah, so you spent that money. So basically, from what I'm understanding, you get
Mhm.
the job mission and these two I think skins or whatever, and then maybe
Mhm.
like
Yes.
one other thing, and then that's it. Then once the next thing comes around, like you said, you got to maybe shell out another $30 or whatever.
Mhm.
It's like that's annoying. To
Yeah.
Han's point, is it worth buying the deluxe versions of games? Depends on the
It
game.
depends. It
Yeah.
totally
Like,
depends on the
yeah,
game.
like the WWE games, their deluxe version usually comes with a season pass that covers you for the whole
Mhm.
run of that game. Everything
Mhm.
that comes out for that game, it you just boot up your system. That DLC is ready for
Mhm.
you to download. You don't have to pay
So
another
I would
next
say
time.
deluxe versions of games that are perfect to buy, single player games
Yeah.
and role playing games and fighting games. You buy the deluxe version or the ultimate version of those. You got everything that you're ever gonna get.
Not
With
Not
necessarily.
necessarily. Yeah. I was gonna say.
Not with fighting games.
Well,
okay,
look at Mortal Kombat right now.
well,
The
no,
Mortal
no.
Kombat,
I guess
for
I guess what I mean
example.
by okay. You know what? You guys got a great point. Great point.
Mhm.
Fighting games has evolved beyond that deluxe version. So I
Hell,
changed my stance.
remember
Fighting
DOA,
games
man?
doesn't count. Yeah, yeah.
D-
DOA Extreme Beach Volleyball. You mean?
yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
DOA 5. DOA
DOA
5.
5.
It's with
Oh
its
wait, it was DOA 5 that you
yeah,
talked about. That's right.
DOA 5 had about $1,500 worth of season passes
Yep.
Crazy,
throughout
crazy,
however many seasons that was, because
crazy.
each one was $100.
Mhm.
And plus some other stuff. And there were exclusive not characters, but exclusive costumes in those.
Costumes. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, y'all are out of your damn minds. But that was one aspect of it. The other aspect of it, from the fighting game side, is like I have the collector's editions of all the fighting games that came out this generation, and none of them, like their season pass is only good for season 1 for every single one of those. Like with Street
Mhm.
Fighter, when Bison came out, he was the start of season 2, which is going to, of course, get us Terry, Mai, and Elena as well. But that's it. Like that collector's edition doesn't get you season 2. Mortal Kombat, obviously, we discussed that, and Tekken is the only one that's still in its first season, because they slow
They
dripping
drug
the
that out.
characters out, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're dragging that out.
They just
love
now
what
had
Sharita-
another character come out. Go ahead.
I love what Sharita said. EA is the biggest pimp. I don't know if that's true anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if is the biggest pimp anymore. I'm not sure. It seems
Yeah.
like all the game companies are pimps now.
Yep.
Literally, that's literally what that's what the model is. Miao Yin is in the chat.
Jumped in. Look at
She
you,
jumped in.
sneaking
It's
in.
2 weeks in a row. Love
I
it.
know.
2 weeks in a row. I love it.
Mm.
So any last comments before we bust on out of here, or any things that y'all wanted to talk about? Oh, you know what? She's right. Look at the Sim 4 add-ons. They've been running Sim 4 for like 20 years. It does seem that
Mhm.
that part is true.
I think they're off Sims 4. I think they're at least on 5 by now. I guess. I don't know. I could be
I
wrong.
don't think so. I don't think so. Let's see. The Sims.
Maybe it is. It might still be Sims 4. I thought they just started just calling it The Sims. But it might still be Sims 4. Who knows?
Yeah, no, the Sims 5 is not out. It's still Sims 4.
That's insane.
It's the Sims 4,
That's
which
another one.
originally dropped back in it didn't even have the year it came out now.
Oh, they
Because they forgot. They're like, dude,
God dang.
We don't remember when this came out.
God dang.
What? Well, hold
wait.
on. The Love Struck add-on is $40. Sharita, please elaborate on what is the Love Struck add-on. I gotta know.
The Sims 4 came out 10 years ago. 10
according to Miao Yin,
years ago.
2011. 2011.
And
even longer than that.
wait, 2011. Oh wait. So it came out on Steam in 2014. So 2011? Holy shit. And let me just say, The Sims 4, you was talking about DOA 5? $1,500, right? all of the Sims expansion packs, if you bought them all right now on Steam, and they're on sale right now. Some of them are on sale. $853 for count 'em 82 expansion packs.
Wow.
82.
That's crazy.
And you know somebody did it and got
Of
off.
course. Of course.
Crazy.
No, Sharita, I understand that it's the latest expansion pack. I'm wondering what's in it, because most of the time, anytime I've ever seen Sims expansion packs, it's very much like Fortnite. Sims was Fortnite before Fortnite, in the sense of selling you extra little digital goodies, because a lot of the Sims packs are usually different emotes, different costumes, maybe different tasks and different things that you can do, and that's usually about it. So I'm imagining Love Struck, because from what I remember from the Facebook Sims all the way back when, you could quote unquote woohoo, which is basically their way of saying have sex in Sims. So I can't imagine what Love Struck is going to add. So that's going to be interesting.
There's some dominatrix and submissives.
I'm trying to go back to just see what, because the whole thing with the Sims started with Sims 2 with all these expansion packs back in the day. The Sims 3 was a whole nother level, but Sims 4 seems like it's
Sims 4 is diabolical.
Insane, bro. Insane.
All right, Patrick asking, which Dr. Doom variant am I? I don't know. Maybe I'm the original. You never know. You never know when it comes with Doom.
That's true. Patrick Perez, is Sims where you can get everyone pregnant? Yes, actually.
Sims was a phenomenon, no doubt. I mean, the funny thing is, to look all the way back, it started as Sim City.
Yep, could be up there like Tyreek Hill,
Sim Ant.
That's what I said, like Tyreek Hill.
Sim Ant. Yeah, they had a whole bunch of Sims games, and then it just eventually just became The Sims, and that was it.
Sim City. I loved as a
what
city
about the
builder.
Herbs? Anybody remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
I didn't play any of them, actually. I do remember some of them being released, but
yes, Sim City was always my favorite. I did enjoy Sim Golf quite a bit. It was basically where you made your own golf course and you managed everything about it. So I deep cut for some of y'all. I know. I love Sim Golf. I thought Sim Golf was fun. Anyway, y'all.
She's saying different date experiences and new clothing, some hairstyles, and yes, you can get pregnant. I had a vampire baby. That's what she said. I mean, I don't know if that's what. See, now here's the thing. I don't know that that's worth $40.
To some people,
no,
it was an addiction.
I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. I have a couple of friends.
People.
Right. I had a couple of friends that were playing the hell out of The Sims, and it was constantly getting the upgrades and happy when the upgrades was getting announced. And that's, again, who am I to talk though? Because like on the video game side of things, I buy a lot of DLC and stuff anyway. So it is what it is. You like what you like.
Now, which is wild, right? Because they don't even make desktop Sim City games anymore. It's a mobile game now.
Wow.
Essentially, it's mobile.
I like what Han Omega said. Sims, you people.
What do you mean, you people?
You mean you people? Exactly. Anyway, y'all. It's about time to bust out. We went over about 15 minutes. So it's been a good talk. We hope you enjoyed the topics that we brought to you. We'll be back with next week with 4 more topics to talk about, disseminate in the genre space. So for my friends, first and foremost, rest in peace. A very solemn rest in peace to Game Informer, the magazine, which has ceased publication as of this week. And in fact, they've already deleted all of the old articles off of the Game Informer website, so you can't even go back and read.
Honestly, that wasn't a good move. They should have just left. They should have just left.
I
It's
agree.
digital info. Just leave it all there. So if people want to go back and look at that old stuff, they can go back and look at it. Like to me, that it does not cost them very much
It's a
because
sucker move, man.
it's owned by GameStop. It's like, dude,
Mm-hmm.
y'all can just have this as a thing off of your main website.
Exactly. It costs them nothing practically. A line item. Even if you cut all of the staff and just let all those articles just live, what you're paying for website maintenance, that's nothing.
That's what see, and to me that's dumb because it's like yes, they got rid of the print magazine. I think some years back. Then they went strictly to digital. Okay, it's digital. Your articles are digital. Just put it on a site where people want to go back and look at that stuff. They can. This is where it's like, okay, you really have that argument of physical is always better is really rearing its head again. So
anyway,
whatever.
So fond farewells to Game Informer. I would love to actually talk about what was the best game magazine, but that's a talk for another day. We'll join us back here next week for another great episode of Culture Junkies Live from my friends the Great Atakuji, Simon Says, and GQ. I'm Kishiro. Wishing you all a great week. Peace out now.
Bye bye.
Have a good one.
Bye bye.